This is a nice part of town. Just dropped her off. Now I feel free. Feel like I lost a seatbelt for some reason. A little too free. Beautiful houses up here. Wish I could afford it. Hopefully we see some nice cars on the ride home. Some rich ass people up here. Shoulda went. So I had a 2006 Gsxr 600. That's my first bike I've ever ridden. When I was like 16, I had a PW50 that I freaking flew over the handlebars on. Pretty much peeled my whole hand back on the dirt from that. And that's my bike experience before I had my Gsxr 600. And that was only about 6 months ago when I got that. Had it for a couple months. It had 50,000 miles on it, so I didn't want to risk it for being my first bike. I put new tires on it right away because the other ones were cracked, and I had fun with that bike. It was a good learning bike for me, at least. I'm not a super dumbass. I like to have fun, but I also know when to take it easy. So I sold that. Got a Kawasaki Versus. Just because I wanted the saddlebags, I wanted the tank bag. I got all that. My family lives in California, so I wanted to save my car and take that to California. And I did that once and decided I'll probably drive or fly from then on out. So I did that once. Worked out good, comfortable bike. I like this 650 Versus. Good bike. It only had like 7,000 miles, 2011. Got it for $2,900, I think. I mean, it was a great deal. And then I got back to Arizona after coming back and decided that I missed the Gsxr, and I like cruising around, going fast when I want to. So I have pretty good credit, so I went down to the dealership, and I initially went to get the 2015 Gsxr 750, but they're having a pretty good deal on the 14s. Brand new 14 still on the floor, so, and I figured stepping up to a 750 after having a 600 was a good decision, and I'm definitely glad. I love the 750. I mean, it's a little more power than the 600. I can still pretty much full open throttle it whenever I want and not worry about it. First gear is definitely more powerful than the 600. 600 I could be at 6,000, 7,000 RPMs and gun it in first gear, and I wouldn't lift the front tire off the ground. I could just take off. With the 750, being in first gear at those RPMs, hitting that power band, I'm definitely a little more cautious because this front wheel and has lifted off the ground. I mean, sometimes it's a few inches. Sometimes it'll startle you because it'll be a couple feet, and I'd rather keep both wheels on the ground. It's fun here and there just to power wheelie in first, kind of mess around, but I'm not big on wheeling. I like to just go fast with both tires on the ground. So that's what I'm rocking now. 2014 Gsxr 750. Don't have too much done to it. Some levers, grips. The grips were a bitch. I'd recommend just rubber grips. When I bought these leather gloves, I had some Alpine Star blue gloves that I like, but they're just so slippery on these grips that I went and got these leather ones, and they work a little better. Leather's a little stiff, obviously, but and I had to shave down the throttle side because the grips didn't fit quite well. Even though Amazon said they fit my bike, they don't. So yeah, got a grips. I just have a slip on. The hot body's exhaust. It's not much different than the stock exhaust that comes with the Gsxr. I think it looks nice. It's real easy installation. That's probably the easiest installation out of all this crap besides this little screw-on cap. Took like 10 minutes, and I'm not very mechanical, so anybody could do that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Trying to go with the carbon fiber theme. So my next purchase is probably get the rear seat cowl, that carbon fiber one, the legit one, but it's like 200 something bucks. So I'll wait a little bit for that. That's probably about it. I'm gonna keep the mirrors. I'm gonna keep the turn signals where they're at. I got the fender eliminator. I would say a buddy do that. Some guy that I thought was a buddy tried to freaking turn into a con artist, and he had a bunch of bikers after him. I met him in a group riding here, and he had a Gsxr 600, and he seemed real cool. He's one of those real like cool guys everybody likes, funny, you know, outgoing, so you just automatically kind of flock towards him. And then we started hanging out a couple times, went on some couple long rides together. Went to his house a couple times. He has like 5 bikes in his garage that he's working on, and he did the fender eliminator. And I had some different frame sliders, the ones that are like the stator cover and all that, I guess. So a little more complicated to get on, and me trying to put on my frame sliders, I was freaking breaking all the little tabs on the fairings, taking it off and on, and so I didn't want to keep messing with that. So I was gonna have him do it, and I broke a lifetime guaranteed tool from Home Depot trying to get one of the screws out. So I was gonna have him do it. He never ended up doing it. He kept putting me off. We went and saw the Geely Man together. Got a ride in his Jeep with him around the track, watch him do some helmet dragging and all that. And so he seemed like a cool guy. He's taking me out all these cool places, doing some cool stuff together. Then he just kept putting me off. So I was just like, all right. And I ordered all like $800 worth of stuff from him, like a power commander. I ordered my initial Two Brothers exhaust, slip-on exhaust from him. A quick shifter. So it was close to about $1,000 worth of stuff. And he was going to do all the install and everything. And then after a couple weeks, he just kept shamming me, I guess, putting me on, saying he's going to do it, never doing it. Kept coming up with excuses, work, blah blah blah. So one day I just went down to his house. I was like, hey, I'm here. I'm gonna pick up my shit. And I knocked on the door because I was tired. I was ready to do whatever had to be done to get my shit. And his roommate answered the door. He's like, yeah. I told him I didn't tell him at first. I was just like, oh, I'm here to pick up some parts, whatever. I've been talking to Rob all day. And then obviously when I text him and call him when I get to his house, he disappears. And he's no longer answering his phone and doing all this and that. So I waited at his house for like an hour. I'm like, nah, this guy's good, all right. And I used to be a little troublemaker back in the day when I was 10 years ago when I was a kid. So I know when someone's full of shit. I know what it looks like, and I let it go way too far. I got a little gullible and with believing them, and I was kind of wet behind the ears, I guess. But so anyways, I got to his house, talked to his roommate. His roommate's like, yeah, this sounds like this is typical Rob. These kind of situations come up all the time. And I was like, you know what? I told him the situation. I was like, man, it's $1,000 of my money. I'm not rich. And it's more than just $1,000. This guy is trying to work me, and I'm gonna do something because he tried to work me rather than do something because he owes me money. Even though that's a lot of money for me. I mean, that's rent right there plus my motorcycle payment. So with all that, I sent him a text and I let him know what's going on and what's going down. And I stayed at his house for like an hour and a half, and he didn't answer. I called him about 50 times, wouldn't pick up, wouldn't text back, nothing. So I went home. I didn't want to wait there anymore. It was late at night, and I'm home for like an hour. Then he texts me like, "Oh, bro, what's going on, man? What are you talking about? I was in a meeting." And it's like 9 o'clock at night. Like, "Oh, you're in a meeting till 9? And he texts me a picture like right before I got to his house. Like, "Oh, I had a nail in my tire. I'm at the shop getting the tire changed." So I knew he wasn't in a meeting. He left he crashed his Gsxr, and his buddy, or I don't even know, maybe he stole the bike. I don't freaking know. He had a BMW S1000 RR. He was rocking for a little bit, and he got a nail in the tire on that, so he's getting the tire changed. And he's like, "Oh, I was in a meeting all day and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Nah, you know what? I don't even give a shit. Just give me my shit or give me my money back." And he's like, "Oh man, you're gonna ruin a friendship over this and blah blah blah." I was like, "Man, ain't no friend ever treated me like this. That you're not a friend, bro. I mean, that's it." And he just kept going on like, "Oh, come on, man. I'm not like that. I've just been tied up and I'm gonna do it. I told you I'll do it for free and blah blah blah." I was like, "Man, I told you I'll pay you. I don't even want you to do it for free. I mean, you said you could do it, so I'll do it for you." And supposedly he's part of some shop and all that. But me and a bunch of other bikers looked it up. The shop was full of shit. There's no such thing as the shop that he's claiming to work at and all that. I mean, he put the fender eliminator kit in, no problem. I mean, it works great. It looks great. I mean, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He tightened my buddy's chain for him on his R6, no charge. I mean, I bought all the parts that he needed, whatever. But yeah, he's a douchebag con artist type of dude, and so I ended up, he PayPal'd me my money back. Everybody else that he owed from our little group that we rode with every weekend. I guess just talking to the group leader that he ended up paying them back also, and so everything got handled. And I've been wanting to text them, just like, I go back and forth. Sometimes I want to text him and be like, "Fuck you," and then sometimes I want to text him and be like, "You know what? I forgive you, bro. You need help, whatever." But I just figured I'll just leave it as it is. It's over with. I got my money back. It's not a big deal. I feel like I got worked a little bit, and that's my fault. Shame on me for that. But so lesson of the day is, if you don't know the person too well, I would recommend just kind of wait off on handing out money or any of that kind of thing. You get my point. So yeah, beautiful day in Scottsdale. It's probably 60. Just wearing a long sleeve and pants and good to go. Just got this Sena 10C. I have a GoPro Session that I just got probably a couple weeks ago, and I'm not a big fan of them. I had a GoPro, I think the black, from 2 years ago, and I kind of use it for videos on fire and stuff, and to do all that, and I just wasn't a big fan of it, and so I went without it. I bought a little cheap one off of Amazon, used that for a little bit, but it just seems like all the editing and it's just too hard for my phone. It was crap. And the GoPro Session was taking 12-minute long videos, and to download them in HD was taking like an hour. And then I'm using my Wi-Fi I can't use my Wi-Fi from my house at the time. I'm using the Wi-Fi to download the video, so I could get texts and phone calls, I think, but I couldn't get any other notifications on my phone for an hour. And so that was it was becoming too much for me, and it wasn't as simple as I thought it was going to be. Just download a video, and I thought there'd be a good editing app where, it just put it together or whatever. It'd be a lot easier than it was, but it wasn't. So I decided to get the Sena 10C, and it pretty much does everything. I had a built helmet with the Bluetooth, and because I figured a helmet's a helmet. If I need a helmet to be stronger than a built helmet, then I have bigger problems. But so I decided to get a Shoei. I believe it's a 1200 or whatever, I don't know. Got the Sena 10C hooked up to it, and so far I really like it. This is the first vocal blog that I've done. I did one with music, and they muted me on YouTube for it, so I'm gonna try the whole talking thing. I watch a lot of the other guys do their bits, and I think it's pretty cool. I watch them all the time, and it's a pretty cool gig, so I figured I'd try it out. They don't want to wait back. Alright, cool Harley guys. No offense to if anyone watches that has a Harley. But yeah, I love it. It does video, has a voiceover, because the GoPro Session you can't plug in a mic, I don't believe, to it. I mean, I'm sure you probably could run a mic through the USB or something, I don't know. But figure this is easy. It does video, music, call, gives me voice prompts, which the built one didn't do, so I can know, and says hello when I turn it on, goodbye, pairing mode, let me know. I did have one problem coming up to drop that girl off. I turned on the camera for some reason, and then I pressed it again to record, and it'll tell me, usually it'll tell me like, oh, recording started or whatever, and it didn't say anything, so I tried it again, and it didn't do anything. So I tried to turn the unit off, didn't say anything. So something was wrong. I was trying to mess with it the whole ride up, and I just got frustrated and decided I'll do it when I stop, even though it was like a 25-minute ride. I didn't want to wait that long, but I did, and I did the hard reset on it, and that ended up working. So I mean, that's the only issue I've had, but besides that, it wasn't a big issue. I don't know, maybe I pressed something wrong, or with my gloves on I couldn't press the two buttons simultaneously very well. It's kind of hard to feel the two buttons at the same time to turn it on and off, so it ended up working, and so far so good. I like this thing. See what the angle's looking like. The last video I had was a little tilted, so the video, or the camera lens can move up to 30 degrees, so I moved it a little bit to hopefully correct it. Hopefully I didn't make it worse by moving it the wrong way, but I'll move that. We'll see where it's at, and go from there. I'll make any corrections that I need to make. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Best Buy, maybe get another little micro SD card to put in the GoPro Session, and put that on the back of the bike, and see. Look at all those nice cars. You know what car I like? Those Teslas, man. I was doing some research on them. Those I don't know if it's a 90 kilowatt battery, whatever biggest battery they offer, 120 or 90. 0 to 60 in 2.8, and I mean, you get like 150 miles per charge. It has lane detection where you can, I mean, as long as there's lines on the road, that thing can drive for you. I mean, that's a badass car. The engineering on it, I mean, just driving itself is alone far beyond any other car, especially at that price range. I mean, I like the S8, I like Corvettes. They all have power, they all have a little bit of luxury to them, but they can't drive themselves. And I think it'd probably take a Z06 to compete with the Tesla. I mean, that thing is smoking Lamborghinis, Ferraris. That thing is just fast. Thing will beat a bike. I mean, that thing's quick. So it's definitely a badass car. If I had the money, I'd think I'd buy that over a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, or I think my choice car is a Corvette. I was never a big Corvette fan until my buddy, his mom had one. This is when I was like 17, so 11 years ago, and I mean, that thing was just ripping. That thing was fast. So ever since then, I just fell in love. That was the first time. 171, I think it was a 06 06 or 05 Corvette, maybe 04, like the C4 or whatever it was, and it topped out at 171 on the freeway, and that's when I fell in love. That was just so much power, and off the line, that thing was just throw you in the back of your seat. I mean, that thing was fast. I never liked the style on them. I never was a big fan of them, but that thing was so much fun. I don't think the turning radius on that's very good. I remember he took it around a corner pretty fast, and he ended up going off the road and fucking it up a little bit, and his mom ended up taking the blame for it. But yeah, it's just a nice fast car. I think Corvettes are, for the price, it's the fastest car you're gonna get in that price range, so it's definitely a cool car. But yeah, this guy's riding no helmet. I don't feel right riding with no helmet. I've tried it a couple times. I was like, oh, Arizona, you don't have to ride with a helmet, that's badass. But it's definitely a little sketchy. I don't like the feeling. And then I think you hear your motor a lot more than your exhaust, and I don't like hearing the motor. It sounds a little weaker than the burly noise of the exhaust. So I like to keep guys texting no hands. I do it all the time too, so I'm not gonna bitch unless he hits me or swerves into my lane. Then I'll do the rev bomb on him. A lot of traffic on Scottsdale, pretty populated. Paradise Valley is a very nice area. I like it here. It's good for bikes because you can ride year round. I mean, I've only had to ride in the rain maybe twice, and I was coming back from California. I got kind of caught in a storm. It was a little sketchy, and I mean, riding around a couple times just for fun, and it starts raining, but not really. It's not raining like these other states are raining. That wasn't very smart of me. I always figured I'll just lane split if I need to. That's what I love California for. I mean, lane splitting is freaking awesome. I hardly ever do it here, just because I hear it's a big ticket. It's really frowned upon. So I mean, if I'm stuck at a long light and it's hot out, where it gets like 110, 115 in the summer, then yeah, I'll just go for it. But I figured I'll just follow the rules, and I have enough tickets, I don't need any more. I don't know if that'd make my insurance go up, but I'd rather not. I'll wait like everybody else. I haven't had any problems with people getting on my bumper. I mean, obviously there's gonna be people tailgating, and I kind of just keep looking at them to let them know, like, hey, back up. But usually I don't have any problems. And usually if I do have a problem, it's because I'm going way too fast on a street, and someone pulls out in front of me because they don't know I'm going 100 down the street, and then I'm getting pissed off at them, like, what the fuck. But most of the time, you've got a bus. Yep. I'm not gonna cut this BMW off, so I'll wait and I'll go if this guy doesn't go. Yeah, I like lane splitting. I took this to California, and it's about a 5.5 hour drive, and it actually wasn't that bad. I think Gsxrs are very comfortable, and it wasn't bad at all. Got there at the same time it'd take me in my car. I mean, I was flying, but I have to stop for gas every hour, so that was the only downfall to that. But besides that, it was a good trip. You got a lane split. That was a blast. It's actually legal now. Before, it wasn't legal and it wasn't illegal. It was in the middle, and people just did it. But now it's actually legal. You're allowed to go 15 miles an hour faster than the commuting cars around you, up to 50 miles per hour. And I mean, that obviously doesn't happen. They'll be going 75 normal traffic and you just blow by. But it's definitely fun. It's not as sketchy as I thought it would be doing it for the first time. the first time I was on the Versus and I had this big old saddlebags, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to fit. So I did a little bit just to check it out, and going on the Gsxr is a lot funner. And you actually have a pretty good view of, as long as there's not a big old box truck in front of you, you have a pretty good view of what's up ahead of you and any potential cars that look like they're going to be a dingbat. So motorcycle pop going another direction. I wasn't really looking. I saw about 150, 155 on the speedometer, but I think that's probably closer to like 145, 140. I've been going by those traffic signs that say how fast you're going. If I'm going 50, it'll tell me I'm going 45, so I think it's about 10% off, which is what they say. So if I'm going 155, that's probably about 140. So I top this thing out, it'll go about 181. That's on a good day. If I'm on flat or gradual uphill, it'll go probably like 178 and then stop. The highway right now like 215, so I'm a pretty big guy. If I cut some weight, I'll probably go a little faster. But taking it to about 181, and I was holding on for dear life, hoping nothing bad happens. I mean, if something bad does happen going that fast, I don't think I'll ever know that it did happen. So, I mean, I look at the positive. But hopefully that never does happen. So far, so good. With the experience I have, I feel like I'm doing pretty good so far. But almost home. Nice little ride down. Saves miles on my car. Lets me have some fun. Lets me get to point A to point B a little faster. Hopefully it'll let some chicks check me out. Probably not, because I'm a little chubby right now, but and I'm ugly. But yeah. Ooh, looks like someone got in an accident. Nice little fender bender. That's never good. My buddy has a 08 RT Charger, and that thing is very disappointing for all you Charger guys out there. Just an RT, I know it's not SRT, so not expecting too much from it, but it is V8 5.7, whatever it is. So you'd figure it'd have some balls, but thing's pretty slow. Actually, I was a little disappointed. And that's riding in it with him and having him step on it, and then also having him tail behind me on my bike, and you can't even tell that he's trying to race. It looks like I'm just cruising by him like nothing. And, so yeah, I think that'll be the end of my first vlog, I guess, video blog. I don't know. See how it does. Hopefully I can make some cool videos, and hopefully you guys like them. I hope this kind of helps. It's not really a review on the Sena, but it gives you my perspective on the Sena 10C and also the GoPro Session. And don't buy a knockoff GoPro for $60 off Amazon, because they're $60 for a reason. I mean, the one I had, it worked. It didn't work very well. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it was that much worse than a GoPro when it came to the editing or the quality, but I think the main problem was trying to find it with my phone, trying to connect with it via Wi-Fi. It was it usually took about 10 minutes to find it. So that was a pain in the ass, and that was my main reason for getting rid of it and getting the GoPro Session. The GoPro Session looked like a good. It was small. It did what I wanted. I didn't need a screen to look. I had that in the past. I had the LED touch backpack I put on my last one, and I never really used it. I mean, it was convenient sometimes. I bought it to take to fires and all that. I worked for the Forest Service, so I thought I'd be able to take some cool videos, and I mean, I did. I got a couple of cool videos, but most of the time when you're on fire, you don't have time to mess around with it, and you just turn it on and off, and if it malfunctions at all, you just didn't record what you wanted to record, and you probably missed something cool that could have happened. And even the RevZilla guy said that. I mean, he did a review on the Sena 10C, and I mean the setup for a GoPro compared to this is it's a lot more time consuming with the GoPro. I mean, this is already on your helmet, just grab it and go. Charge it just like any other Bluetooth. So very convenient. But alright, I'm here, and yeah, see ya.